same vein of Scorn, not at all. We're going to talk about Gotham Knights. This is a game I've put, I don't even know, probably 20, 25 hours into, maybe a bit less than that. A lot though, more than a dozen, handily more than a dozen hours into this game, for work over the last couple of weeks. And I've been on quite a small journey with this game. I went from quite enjoying it in my first few hours, to then having discussions with other people who had the game, and they were saying, "Hey, I think this blows." And I was like, "Oh, hey, look at it! It's got some rough edges, but I think there's something to enjoy here." And then I had to do a lot of like a lot of the generated content to make guides for it. So I was doing all of the constantly regenerating crime combat encounters over and over. So I kind of stalled on the game for a while and got pretty sick of all that stuff. And I've only just recently got back to doing the rest of the story. And the way where I've landed on this game is that I still maintain that if you are excited by these characters, by this world, by the setting, if you think it looks decent, or you're just curious to give it a go, then there is something here for you to enjoy. If you're not already a Gotham, Batman, Bat Family fan, or you weren't looking forward to this game, I think it will be pretty difficult for people not in either of those camps to get something out of, personally.
You basically said this game is winning over no one.
I think it's only basically it's not going to make any new friends, I don't think. Now, I think for the price, I wouldn't really recommend this to anyone to get to the full price right now. I think it's just not that fun.
Yeah.
But you know, if it comes to, it's the kind of thing where I would heartily recommend it to anyone who was vaguely interested in it, or in, again, the setting, or was just excited about it in general. If it came to a subscription service, or if it was drastically reduced in price, so not even drastically, but if it was like 33% off or something, I was like, you know what, there's something there for you, go for it. But yeah, it's pretty rough. It starts out, I honestly, there's a lot here that I do like. There's a lot of really neat interactions between. So if you're not familiar with Gotham Knights, it's a game set in Gotham. Go figure. Except it's not an Arkham game. It's not a Batman game because Batman is dead, and you're playing as Batman's proteges. You're playing as Nightwing, Red Hood, Batgirl, and the newest Robin. And the four of them together are trying to solve the problems and the crimes that Batman left unsolved and perhaps led to his death while protecting Gotham. And it's kind of this weird amalgamation of like a co-op single-player game, but it's co-op, and it's kind of got some gear systems like Destiny, and it's kind of like Arkham, but it doesn't quite hit the highs of Arkham because it's trying to give you four different characters that all do the same thing. So you start stumbling into that like Avengers problem where everyone's the same but a little bit different, but not different enough to be that different. I thought the combat was fine to start with, and I thought the traversal was fine to start with. The problem is it's too simple and it wears thin really quickly, especially for the amount of content in this game. You could play this game for probably 50 hours with the amount of stuff that's in there. But I was pretty ready to move on with the combat after like 5.
Ooh.
I enjoyed those first 5 hours. And again with the traversal, but then the traversal kind of stagnates. You're just kind of grappling to the edges of buildings and doing a little leap off them to get a bit further, and grappling again and grappling. And there's it's a very stop-starty kind of a motion. That feeds into something else, but I'll get to that in a minute. So yeah, the traversal doesn't kind of go anywhere. It doesn't really do that much. You get the bat motorcycle to ride basically right from the start. It feels really slow and not
What?
that fun.
It feels
so I
slow.
didn't really use it that much because I didn't enjoy it that much.
What the hell?
Uh,
Why would it feel slow?
Because I don't know. It just doesn't feel like it is actually going through the city that fast.
Yeah,
Like I'm
right.
watching the meters counter tick down to get to my objective, and I'm like, come on, guys. Come
Oh,
on.
no,
Like,
'cause-
it's not that much faster than grappling.
Because my immediate thought was going to be like, oh, is there just like not enough speed lines and not enough FOV change when you go fast? But if
The
you
problem is there's only speed lines. Like, it feels like you're actually just not moving that fast, and so they put speed lines on the edge of the screen, and it helps a little bit.
oh dear,
So that's a problem.
yeah,
I think the story's kind of interesting. This whole Court of Owls conspiracy thing, and the way they there's a really long cutscene at the start, which is really awesome. It's you get to watch Batman's final fight, basically.
yeah. I've seen this cutscene on YouTube.
It's a great cutscene. It's awesome. It's really cool. And then you're introduced to the 4 characters. You get to pick one. They start picking up the pieces. They load up the belfry. Alfred comes and helps, and he's there. He's your compass. He's your guiding key for the whole game. Basically, he's helping you out now that Batman's gone. But this game, with the characters, I enjoy their interactions with each other in the like between mission moments. But I think the best writing comes from these small 30 to 90 second cutscenes you get seemingly at random that happen throughout the story as you progress. There will just be, if you're playing as Robin, there will be a certain thing you can go interact with in that corner of the belfry, and it will start a scene between Robin and someone else. There was this really cool one with Red Hood and Robin, because the whole thing with Red Hood is he's angry. He's been resurrected because he died, and so he's an angry guy. He's a bit bent out of shape. He's huge. He's hulking. He uses guns, right, which Batman never did. But he's using non-lethal rounds, and Robin's
Coward.
there helping him. And Robin's there helping him tweak his payload, his actual bullets, to see how lethal they are or non-lethal they are. And they're measuring the output on the dummy that they're shooting, and Robin's saying, look, we're really close to the threshold here. Like, I think we should dial this back a bit. And Red Hood's like, it's fine. Do you know how many of our criminals that we take on have armor? And Robin's like, no, seriously, I think this is too much. And Red Hood's like, these guys deserve it, don't worry. And so Robin's like, fine, if you think these are safe, and like casually just walks in front of the dummy while Red Hood's turned away. He's like, then shoot me with it. And right as Red Hood like turns to shoot the gun at the mannequin again, except Robin's right there in front of him now. And you see the moment on Red Hood's face. He's like, oh, fuck. Oh, shit. And so he kind of reluctantly, he's that sort of brooding, macho kind of guy. But they give him a moment of like, you know what? Maybe you're right. Maybe it is a bit too hot. What can we do? Let's bring it down a bit. We'll need to compensate for that. And then he starts going into like the nerd talk with Robin. And Robin's like, great. I mean, we can start talking about jail compensation. Like, there's plenty of those moments in the Belfry throughout the game. And I think they're the highlight for me. Like, stuff about how Robin doesn't know how to grieve about Bruce, and stuff about how Red Hood's all messed up, and Nightwing trying to shrug off his injuries, and Alfred being able to see right through it because he's so used to helping Bruce through his injuries and stuff like that. All of that, I think, is the highlight of the game for me. They're pretty short moments. There's a good number of them. There was one moment, there's one of those cutscenes that's reused for each character.
What?
And this is going to segue in. So all of those scenes I just spoke about, they're all bespoke, and that's fine. But
Okay.
there's this one set of challenges you have to do to unlock your aerial traversal ability. Each character has a different one. Batgirl's got the cape that you fly with, very similar to Batman in the Arkham games. Robin's got this Justice League teleportation satellite, which sucks. Red Hood's got this like spirit jump thing, and Nightwing's got like a Fortnite glider. They all help you get around the city faster. But to unlock those, you need to, with that character, defeat 10 major crimes around the city.
Okay.
That actually takes way longer than you might think. It's like 3 to 5 minutes per crime once you get there. It takes a decent amount of time to get to each one, and 10 is about the very maximum amount of crimes you could do in one night. sometimes you can't do 10 in one night. So sometimes you have to go back to the Belfry to reset Gotham to generate more crimes to do this 10th crime, right? So you finally do the 10th crime and you unlock your teleportation or your spirit jump or your Fortnite glider, right?
Yeah.
And you can go talk to Alfred. And they're like, "Oh, we're finally getting the Belfry up and running, huh?" And Alfred's like, "Oh, Bruce would have been proud of you. This is your home." And they're like, "Yeah, Gotham does feel like home, doesn't it? It's, first I thought it was pretty bad, but it's pretty good." And Alfred said, "Yeah, Gotham's hard to take care of." Anyway, and that completes the challenge. So that finishes that mission. And you've completed your knighthood, right?
Right.
KN hood. Anyway, you go over to the rack of suits and you change your character. And I did that as Robin, and now I'm Red Hood. Oh, Alfred wants to talk to me on the balcony. And Red Hood goes up. He's like, "Oh, man, we're finally getting the Belfry in shape," right? In like slightly different Red Hood version of words. And Alfred says the same lines that I just heard. The exact same lines. And he's like, "Oh, Gotham's hard to defend, but, Bruce made it really important." And it was so weird. I don't know why they did that. And that starts getting to the issues of the game pretty quickly. And unfortunately, there's more of them that I want to. I was trying to be really generous with this game. I never want a game to be bad. I always want the game to succeed, right? Oh, but man, they made it hard. Specifically, there's side missions with notable villains. So there's like a Harley Quinn questline. There's a Mr. Freeze questline. There's a Clayface questline, and those have like set pieces and moments. But they're side quests. They don't have to do with the Court of Owls story. I decided to do Mr. Freeze's because they showed off a Mr. Freeze boss fight way back when, and I kind of like Mr. Freeze as a villain in general. And I was going through that quest line. I thought, this is really cool, and I'm going through that mission, and like Mr. Freeze has frozen this big tower, and you have to climb it, and it's really intense. The boss fight's bad.
Yeah, right.
It's a bad boss fight. Like so much health, even when I've got the right elemental weapons, because there's a gear system in this, and it just takes forever. I like die 4 times.
This sounds
and
bad.
I got through it, and I'd heard that the Mr. Freeze boss fight was bad, and I get through it, I'm like, oh, okay, well, that was something. But it's over now. Oh, there's more Mr. Freeze storylines. Oh, he's being broken out of Blackgate. Okay, well, let's finish this up. I get there. They've given him a mecha suit. I gotta kill Mecha Spider Mr. Freeze now. He's got more health. And like I can't get through the first phase of this fight without dying because of how it is. So I knocked it down to very easy. And I cleared it on my first time on very easy. It took me 20 minutes. Not because I didn't understand not because I didn't understand the fight. It just took that long. It just took me that long of Red Hood punching this metal spider's legs and dodging attacks so I didn't get stunned over and over and over. And there are really cool cinematics in between, and like the art and the animation of all of these ice effects I think are amazing. I think the environmental detail is really good in this game, honestly, especially in the missions. But God, it was awful. It was so bad. It was optional. I honestly just recommend maybe people either steer away from it or do it with a friend on very easy and just clear through it for the XP. It's bad. And it just kind of keeps going like that. The main story is not as exciting as I want it to be. I thought it might get better than it did, but it doesn't. And like I said, the best part is the environmental design, and that's about it.
I have a question for you.
Please.
Why did they make this game this way?
I don't know, Jeremy. This is made by WB Montreal. Their last game was Arkham Origins.
Yeah, they don't have an immediately great track record.
No. Also, they haven't released a game in 9 years. Literally 9 years, which is a really long time. And when you're coming out with a game this big, and
it runs at 30.
only runs at 30 frames per second. It's only on next-gen consoles because they cancelled the previous-gen consoles. It can barely hold a steady 60 frames per second on PC if you have a 4090 GPU. Like...
Something's wrong here.
Something is wrong here. I really feel for the studio. I think, honestly, they were pulled in too many directions. I think they were making a live service game like Avengers, and then they saw Avengers come out, and they're like, oh no, we have to make sure this isn't going to be like this, because right now it feels a lot like this. It's way more polished than other games have been in some regards. Like, it runs okay. It never really crashed on me. The performance could be
good.
better, but it's way more polished than other games, but the substance just isn't there.
Yeah.
It's just not there, unfortunately. If you love Red Hood, or if you've been dying to play as Batgirl or Robin, this is a great opportunity for you to do that, sincerely. And, like, they've got good ways to specialize their combat and stealth and traversal and stuff like that in their skill trees, but if, like, there's too much that is underwhelming or actually bad with this game to wholeheartedly recommend it to anybody.
Yeah, right. I did have some. So I didn't want to buy this game because I looked at the videos and I went, I don't think that looks very good. And then I saw they were doing Court of Owls, and that was the most exciting thing to me because I quite like the Court of Owls comic.
And, like, there's been a lot of buzz from that from people who know, right? That had me excited for the people who knew it, who were excited.
But I feel like if I played this game, and you know me,
I do know you.
I would rip this game to shreds.
Maybe.
Does it do everything wrong that I don't like about games that do this stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, we were talking about it pretty early. I was like, oh, the way they conceptualize, like, the, you know, to find out about the big crimes that are happening that night, you have to stop, like, petty crimes, and you gain clues, and that reveals the location of a crime that faction was planning for the next night or something. So the more crime you stop the first night, the more crime there will be for you to solve the next night, because you'll know where it all is and whatever. And, like, when you go back to the Belfry and finish for the evening, then those crimes finish, right? Those crimes happen. You let them happen. But realistically, those crimes are endlessly generated. There's no penalty for you letting them go, which is good because it would be punitive otherwise. Which means that it doesn't feel like those crimes happen. It just feels like you get a different selection of the same 15 or 20 crimes that you've done before on the next night, or the next night, or the next night. Once I got everyone's movement ability, 40 crimes later, I was so happy to not have to do any of those until a side quest wanted me to, or the main quest even wanted me to. Like, they'll be like, go back to the main world. Or if you didn't do all those side quests and you're underleveled, you hit like a leveling point at some point with the main missions where you're underleveled, so you need to get into the open world to level up.
Underleveled in a game like this just seems like hell.
Underleveled?
Yeah, like the concept of being underleveled in a game like this.
Yeah.
Do you remember at no point during any of the Arkham games did I feel like I needed to go out and level up?
No. Yeah. Yep. The combat's not as good as Arkham. I prefer the style in this one more than Arkham. Even the way they've stylized Gotham, this more realistic, less stylized version, I much more prefer it. I think I've got a lot of Arkham fatigue. I think it just really isn't my style. I much more prefer this style of Gotham. But, like, it ain't all that.
Yeah. Yep.
I'll finish the story because I want to see what happens, so I can put a bow on it. But playing more this weekend to get a better feel of it, I was waiting for it to hook me more. And, like, that's why I say the environmental design is so good, because the level design isn't. The level design it's just more grappling and more punching, and then more grappling and more punching, and that's fine, but it's all you do. It's the only thing you do.
That doesn't sound
in this
fine.
game.
That doesn't sound fine.
No, it's fine for 5 hours.
Yeah, so it sounds bad.
No, it's not abjectly bad.
If it's fine
It's
for
just
5
thin.
hours and then not fine
And then boring.
for how long's the game?
You could probably finish it in 12 for the main story, I'm guessing. I'm not sure how much you need to level in between missions. So probably, 10 or 12 if you mainlined it.
It sounds like a bad video game.
Yeah, I think it is at the end of the day. I don't want to admit it because I do enjoy it. And I was rooting for this studio.
Why?
But I don't know, man. I feel like there's too much working against them on this. I feel like they're a studio that, like, Rocksteady had so much success and they're like, we're not making Arkham anymore. We want to do something else. And so they're making their own thing, even though it's not looking that good at this point.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to follow all the same issues.
Meanwhile, this studio is in WB's pocket, and WB are like, we need another Batman game. Make us a Batman game. And it's like, oh, we don't want to make a Batman game. They're like, fine, make this instead.
I mean, we don't know that. Like, that's not a thing that we know.
I know, but
Like,
9 years
that's not a
since
thing
the
that's
last game. Like, there's no...
That's not a thing that's come out as if there's some mandate that they need to make a Batman game. Because they have not made a Batman game. They've explicitly not made a Batman game. I know, and
You're right.
I know what you mean.
I guess I'm trying to rationalize it, right? Like, it's
don't
hard
know
to figure
why.
out why this is the way it is. And I want to believe that there was some manipulation or, like, directorial notes or something like that. But, like...
Sometimes
I just don't understand why the game is the way it is.
Sometimes the cake is just bad. Sometimes it's just hey, bad video games get made.
I guess you're right.
The proof.
Right.
There's proof in front of you.
I think that, no, but the thing that gets me is that there will be people who love this game. It's made in a way that people won't, not everyone will be worn thin by that combat, and people will enjoy playing in this city, and people will enjoy playing as these characters, and that will be enough for them, and they will love this game. It's not like no one's going to love this game. I think that's the thing that's stopping me from saying that it's a bad game.
Oh, sure. It's not like a Balan Wonderworld, but like it's but it's like an Avengers.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, pretty fair to say, a failure.
I don't think I agree with you.
That Avengers was a failure.
Yeah.
I think it was.
Maybe I do agree with you, but yeah, it's tricky because people really like that game. Not as many as they wanted, not as many as people should have, but some people did. So I don't know. I got to think about my internal compass on this one, I think. But yeah, don't buy this game for full price.
As someone who has not played it, don't buy this game.
Unless you really like the world. No, sorry, I'll shut up. Jeremy, it's time for a segment that we missed last week.